Did not have my mic muted, so it's a good thing I wasn't doing anything weird in here. So I just looked down. Welcome to the live stream. I've got my iced tea. Gonna relax tonight, just enjoy having a chance to stream with you all. And we'll talk in the chat here in just a minute, but I want to greet you. It is August. Can you believe it's already August? How did this happen? I have no clue. June flew by, July is now gone, and it is now August 2023. And if you think back over the last 3 or 4 years, it's kind of amazing that we're here. So congratulations. And if you're watching this after it went live, congratulations to you as well. I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios. And I thought I'd give just a little overview of the studio. This is a room in my house, and it used to be a man cave. That's the big TV back there. I've got the remote right here. And I used to just hang out in here and watch TV, play some Xbox. I actually had an editing station so I could do some music, some voiceover. But a lot's changed in the studio over the years because of the last 4 or 5 years. And things are continuing to change. Obviously, one of the things I want to talk about tonight, we have two major things we're going to talk about tonight after my little 10, 15-minute intro. And that is, we're going to look at my network. My special guest, once again, was called away, and he has some issues with some network. Hopefully, I won't have issues with network tonight. Let me hit record before Freddie reminds me. So I am now recording. So again, he couldn't make it, so I got pictures, I got things to show you. I was going to try to get him in the chat. He's literally driving back now, emergency phone call. So he was going to join me in the chat tonight, and he can't because he's driving back to the local area to deal with an issue with internet in one of his areas. And so Mark's not going to be with us tonight, but I want to give a shout out to those of you who are joining me. We are going to look at the network. We're also going to talk about something that happened on my phone today. So an X showed up. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We'll open with that here in a minute. But I wanted to just say that this is now a production studio. I do video editing here. I can bring clients in here for a podcast, audio or video podcast. I also can do some voiceover in here. I do some social media for clients. Again, I do tutoring in here, consulting for live streaming tech. So I have clients that work with that. Right now, I have a client that I'm doing mainly graphics for weekly for their YouTube channel, their Facebook page, and another client that's starting a podcast, and it's going to be audio only. And so that's just starting, and so hopefully we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then I have a client that I do some videography and stuff for. It's a manufacturer of RVs, and that is 3, 4, 5 times a year. I have a shoot with that client coming up at the end of this month. So that will be interesting. I will bring some footage back from that. It's a big open house event in Dallas, Oregon at the casino. I don't plan on doing any gambling, but I will be staying at the casino, pretty much shooting for 2 straight days, driving for a day, back another day driving. Kind of a collaboration this time. We're going to talk a little bit about that in next week's live stream. I may or may have some new products next week. It just depends on a conversation later in the next couple days. So I do want to talk about those two major things, the X that appeared on my phone today, as well as look at my network. And we're going to kind of just talk about how the nuts and bolts. I'm not a network guy. My network guy can't be in the chat tonight. He will join us in a future chat. He's promised me, so we'll do that. So let's just go ahead and say some highs, and then I have one thing I'd like to recognize tonight. So let's do this. How do I do this? Wake up, Keith. Okay, let's do this first. We're going to talk about everybody is here, and then I'll say a couple more things about the studio and some of the changes, but Freddie is in the house. Chat on the air, so welcome, Freddie. You were first in tonight, followed by Jay, and pretty incredible. Jay had a big Sunday. Let me just do a little recognition here. Let's put this on the screen. That's right. Jay was a special guest on Aaron's live stream on Sunday at 10 o'clock, and I have put a link in the description. So, wow, that's a great honor. Congratulations, TVJ, for your collaboration on Aaron Parecki's live stream. You've been a guest here or at least in the chat on my show, and to see you on Aaron's show was quite exciting, because it's kind of cool when you know the people in the chats and other live guests and other live streams, YouTubers. And Aaron was here in our chat just like last week or the week before, I believe, and that was pretty incredible. So special shout out to Jay. Congratulations for that appearance. So again, welcome, Jay. And let's see. I saw another gentleman here. We'll get back to some of your questions here in a moment. Just trying to get my chat, as usual, to work. Let's see. There we go. David's in the house. David, so I have a dilemma that I'd love to have your feedback on. So while we have David up here, David is a Australian photographer, very, very talented. If you have not gone over to check out his channel, please do. This manufacturer wants me to shoot really wide. I have a 16 to 35 lens now, f4, and they use some crop sensors, Panasonic 2-point crop, and so they have a 7 to 11 millimeter lens that they use, and I had to ask them in an email about the crop, and they said yes, my research is correct. They're shooting a crop. So in reality, if I get the new 14 to 35 RF lens by Canon, I will be able to shoot at 14 wide. That's as wide as they can go, because their 7 to 11 has a 2 times crop. So that's 2 times 7, that's 14, and 2 times 11 is 22. So in reality, they have a 14 to 22 millimeter lens. And so anyway, it's $1,399. That's really quite amount of invest. So I would really love to get your feedback, David, tonight on that width. And if you know anything, I know you don't talk much about Canon on your channel, but maybe you know a little bit about the 35 or the 14 to 35 millimeter Canon RF lens. It is an L lens, and again, it's $13.99 unless I get one refurbished. So shout out to you for being on the chat. Check out his channel. Tony is in the house. It's good to have you as usual. DJ Ware is in the house as well. Both of those gentlemen have channels. So does David. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so on their channels, because it's just nice to know more about the people that you're in the chat with. And oh, it's doing its thing again here. Okay, so Gio, good. It's good to have you. Gio Walker is in the house, and again, he says, "Congrats to Jay." And I'll go ahead and put this up there. Yeah, they're kind words, but I was very proud of you, and so just wanted to make sure that you knew that tonight. Again, if you missed it earlier, in reality, Jay was on Aaron Parecki's show on Sunday. I put a link in the description. In fact, that's the only link right now I have. Please don't go look at it now. Wait until we're done tonight. I do have a birthday party. It's Dominic's birthday. So going to Dominic's house, and I will show you. I'll have some footage next week of what I got him and for his birthday. But that's going to happen after I get off tonight from the live stream. So again, congratulations. TVJ for that great appearance. And then, yeah, please smash the like button. My channel's been slowing down a little bit. Mostly that's my fault. Last week I decided to go ahead and post the behind the scenes footage of me building the fountain/waterfall. I'm waiting for things to cool down a little bit. I am going to shoot from out there. I have a whole plan. It's just too hot right now. My equipment would overheat. My cameras would overheat. And So once it drops down to more like 75 or so in the shade, then I will go ahead and do that live stream. Okay, well, and again, I'm a landscape shooter, so I totally understand the idea of having a wider lens. I hear good things about it. It's RF specific, and if you don't know anything about Canon cameras, or maybe you do, there's the old camera line, and then there's the mirrorless camera line, and they use new lenses. I do not have any RF lenses right now. I have a number of the regular lenses. I'm trying to remember what the mount is right now. If you can think of that, just drop it in the chat. So I'm going to move on. So I have a number of lenses. I have an 85 mil 1.2. I have a 50 mil 1.2. 1.2 is the aperture. That means it gets that really, really cool bokeh, which is basically a word, Japanese, I believe, for out of focus. And I have a 70 to 200, 2.8. I have a 100 macro, 1.2, I believe, or 2.8, I believe is 2.8. I have a 16 to 35 f4. I have my, let's see, 24 to 70, 2.8 L lens. That's the version 2. And then I have, what else do I have? I have, so I said 1635, 24 to 70. And I think that's it. So this would add one more lens in the repertoire, and it would be super wide, and it's getting pretty good reviews between 4.5 stars of 5. And so interesting lens. Obviously, I'm shooting a full frame EOS R. If I use that, it would only fit my EOS R. You can't adapt it to the other cameras, so it would be specifically to my EOS R. And that's what I would have to shoot with until I get my new mirrorless camera, which I do plan on get one. I just torn between all of the different options: R5, R6, R6 version 2, R10, R8. There's all of these new Canon cameras, and they're all over the place. Obviously, the R5 shoots 8K. That would be a great camera, but it overheats. So they've come out with a video kind of slash version of that, which doesn't overheat. It's the same basic R5, but it's designed to look more like a cinema camera. It's got big vents in it. That was their only solution, to try to give people a video version of it that could go and go and go. Some of these cameras that came out by Canon have like up to 2 hours of shooting. Normally I don't live stream longer than 2 hours, but I don't want a camera that times out, preferably. I get them if they shut down, if they overheat. That's great to have, but I just don't want them shutting off because of all of the reasons why they shut off. So love that input. Thank you very much. Yeah, $13.99 for lens, Canon glass. That's for sure. It's good to have you tonight, Eric. As always, you've been coming quite a bit lately, and I appreciate that very much. So shout out to you. Make sure you check out Eric's channel. Eric, I haven't been over to your channel, so I apologize for that. I will check it out tonight. And hello back to you. And yes, my computer is still doing its little deal, the chat. So I don't know what the story is, but the box opens up, and that's keeping me from being able to see who else has jumped in the chat. And so I'm going to look on my phone, and I see Chio has written some stuff here. So let's see if I can get this thing to populate. There we go. I think it's okay. So let me do this. Oh, let's see. Eric, we got you. I did that earlier. Cool. Okay. So let me go back in here and catch up with some of the things you guys have been saying here, and fight with this crazy software. Okay, so I will. Freddie says, God bless the guys who invented the air conditioning. Yeah, it's been very hot here in my neck of the woods. Here's Freddie congratulating Jay as well. Put that up there. Let's see. Yeah, it was a great stream. I got a chance to check some of that out today. I am going to finish watching it. I've been doing other stuff on Sunday, so I have to catch up, and I got interrupted today when I was watching that stream. Again, that's Jay on Aaron Parecki's channel. Okay. Tony says, considering adding a Rodecaster to the studio, looking at Duo versus the Pro 2, do you think the Pro 2 is worth the extra $200? Okay, so here is the story on those two devices. The major difference on those two devices is 2 channels. So if you're going to have 4 people ever on a podcast, you would want the same Rodecaster Pro I have. It has 4 inputs. I think there's 2 less pads on the Rodecaster Pro Duo. And so again, if you just want to have a conversation with another person, you still have the ability to Bluetooth in. You can still use the wireless Go microphone. The 2 newer versions can wirelessly adapt. So there's basically a receiver inside both of those devices. So you can use the wireless Go mics. It won't work with the DJI mic, which I have on tonight if I need to go mobile. So keep that in mind. So I would say if you don't need guests, then go for the newest 2-channel version. So that would be my answer to that. Okay, we'll see you a little bit later, Freddie. Sounds like you're having some issues at home with your internet. DJ Ware caught some of that live stream, so he's saying that. Yeah, and I've checked out David Joshua Ford's channels as well. I've watched a lot of reviews on the Canon cameras, probably hours and hours and hours of views. But I appreciate that input, Eric. That's great. Yeah, camera companies don't make it easy to make a decision. It's almost like they're trying to find a camera for every niche. If you are a photographer, you want a little video. If you're a photographer, you want high-end video. If you're a photographer, you don't need to shoot sports, lots of frames per second. If you don't mind crop sensors, I don't know why anybody would go crop unless they do it for budget, because the lenses are so much less expensive on crop cameras because you don't have to have that bigger glass like you will on a 35mm sensor. So the L glass from Canon, even though there are RF lenses that aren't the L, the higher end glass that you can get, I just don't invest in anything but the L type glass. That's just my jam. And so this would be my first RF mount Canon lens. And again, $1,399. Occasionally you'll see it $100 off. I'm sorry, DJ went from EF lens to RF when they came available. Not a cheap thing. Yeah, so that's the different mounts, RF versus EF. So all my lenses are EF right now. That will be my first RF. Chio says, outside the kit lens, I have a Canon 50-200 f4 from my Canon M50 Mark II. The rest are Sigma prime lenses. Yeah, there's a lot of good Sigma prime lenses. So that's something I've considered. Mainly if I did like a special, Jared Undone did, I think it was Jared Undone. No, someone else did a video on a little rig. I sent that over to Freddie. Freddie, if you can remember who that was, but he built kind of a little rig, a little video camera, and it was quite fascinating, all the pieces and the parts of that. If I can remember what that is, I will put it in the links below. So if I built like a special kit, then I would do something like that. But typically, I'm buying cameras for photography first, video second, live streaming third, or, you know, you can change those orders, obviously, but yeah, Google Chrome has broken several things, and is broken right now. So who knows? Maybe they'll get it fixed. But if you double click on the 3 little dots, you can still use the chat feature. Yeah, Eric wrestled with it. Again, the Google Chrome plugin, Aaron Parecki said there's no bugs in it. The bugs are in Chrome. He's having the same issues. I think he's using something different for his live stream now. I think he's using John Barker's kit, H2R Graphics. I don't know if it is better off. So who knows? You have to check out what Aaron's using now. But I know for his behind the scenes for his home, his triplex build, and his other podcasts that he produces, it's not as straightforward. They're having the same issue, I hear. Yeah, and the Duo has the same mix minus. So pretty well, it's the same rig, couple less buttons as well. I think, double check that. It may have all the buttons. I might be getting confusing. They have a new little single video input, video output pass through that you can use as your live streamer. It has all the vocal effects, the good preamp, one XLR input. So that's available as well. So you can use it as a video through input. So you can add really high quality audio with all of the cool Rodecaster Pro effects. That's the Aphex processing, the Revolution preamps that have really massive gain. They do perfect with this microphone. So I think everything's the same. It has two USB-C ports. You can use it with the Duo with two different PCs. So I use it for my laptop and my PC. So I could Zoom from either one of these at any time. So if I was having laptop problems or I left it in my bag, I could go right to my PC, which is here. And it's hooked up to my Rodecaster Pro 2. I just raised the volume on another channel. There's a chat channel, which has the mix minus in, and that's what you use for Zoom. So you just choose that chat channel. And now there's all kinds of features. If you do the updates to the beta or to the software firmware, then you'll be able to do even complete separate mixes inside it for whatever you want. So you could add whatever you wanted to go into a live stream, into Zoom, or into a live stream if you're doing it as a gamer. So lots of features. Those videos on Rode's site are very precise. So check those out, and that should help you get up to speed. Okay, we're going to get into tonight's topic. And let me turn chat off the air. First thing I want to do is talk about this. I'm going to put the still image up on the screen. There you go. You can see what is X. What is X? Let me unplug my phone. I am going to tether my phone. And let's do this once I make sure. Okay, let me put me back up here. And let me make one little quick change here. Let's see. Let's go output 1. Trying to get my phone to tether here, so give me a second. What is going on here? Output 1 is, okay. Let's do my Apple TV then, and let me just put this up on the screen. So let's do this. Close that. Let's go like this. How do I want to do this? Super source. Let's do 2 box here. Box 1 will be EOS R. Box 2 is going to be extreme output. And let me go ahead and add a crop here. Left, let's do about 12. Does that look? Yeah, that's almost perfect. Right, let's do a 12. Is that perfect? No, that didn't work at all. Let's try that again, 12. Please stand by. Okay. Let's make this a little bigger. I am building a so today I got up and I looked at my main screen, and here's this X. If you look in the front row, left-hand side, there's an X. Now, I don't remember ever having an app on my phone with an X before. So I was sitting there on my porch, which is where I like to go, my back porch, turn my waterfall on. That app is right here. So I can literally go in here right now. Let me do that again. I can go into hub space right there, and I can turn my waterfall off right now. And so let's turn it off. The waterfall is officially off. So I was wondering, what in the world is this X? So why don't you, if you know the answer to why this X ended up on my screen, why don't you go ahead and put that in the chat right now? And I'll just see what you're saying. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag here. And I just want to get your opinion. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. I know it's already 4:30, but I do want, oh, look at that. David says, Twitter, rename, new branding for Twitter. Okay. So I clicked on it. Good job. I clicked on it, and there you go. Twitter popped open, and I'm thinking, what? So again, that is the X on my screen, and I can't say I was super excited about that, but it is what it is. So I just want to get your feedback. What are your thoughts about Twitter? Elon Musk rebranding Twitter to X. They put a big X on the building. I believe the main Twitter building is in San Francisco. Thank you. By the way, here, let's do this. Let's go back into my chat. And action. Yeah, and that's messed up as well. So thanks again for the insight on the Rodecaster Pro. I don't know what is happening here with the super chat, but thank you so much, Tony, for the $5 super chat. Let's go into key number 4 here, and I will just make some adjustments while we're here. And let's go into pre-multiplied. That didn't work. So let me just see if I can get your background to show up a little better. Yeah, just really, it's broken. So doesn't work if I do pre-multiplied. We'll go chat off, chat back on. So yeah, something's happened in Google Chrome. Usually the super chats show up perfect, but thank you so much for that super chat. And again, you're welcome for the insight into, welcome for the insight into the Rodecaster Pro Duo version 2, actually Rodecaster Pro 2 Duo. And again, Rodecaster Rode came out with a number of devices. They have a new pod mic that has USB. It looks a little bit different. So it's got a new windscreen, which is really cool. So check that out. That's about $150 now. They have the new Rodecaster Pro 2 Duo. Let's just go ahead and pop these new items up here on the screen. Let's go to Rode site. Spell it right. Let's see here. Okay, so let me change to me and my laptop. So here's the duo that Tony is talking about, and thank you again for the super chat. So again, you have this one, this is the new Streamer X, and again, if you haven't checked this out, this is a cool little device. If you just really want a way to hook up a camera, have all of the good audio that you can get from a Rodecaster Pro, including the effects, the voice effects, pads to do audio, mute your video, mute your microphone in a Zoom call, without having to change any settings in Zoom. So you can just hit a button and the camera will go off, hit a button and the mic will go off. You could do pass-through if you're doing gaming, and add that audio. So there's just a lot of cool features. Again, check this out, this device. There's the new pod mic with the USB plug-in. You can see the volume controls on the bottom and a USB-C port. That's the new pod mic USB, and you can use it as XLR or a USB mic. And then they have the new backpack to carry the Rodecaster Pro version 2, or you could use it for anything. You can carry some microphones as well as some boom arms. So lots of new things happening with Rode, their new headphones, the Duo. They have all kinds of fun little devices, they have their ability to receive these new microphones, all their apps, all their software, their new boom arm with all the crazy Rode branding on it. So lots of items here. If you go into the interface section, there's the Rodecaster Pro version 2 like I have. And then here are the options that you have. $499 for the Duo, $699 for the Rodecaster Pro version 2 regular, and then the Streamer X is $399. Quite the spend. And then you have their little AI Micro. I have it. I don't have the A1, the All-1, and I do have the older Rodecaster Pro 2. And then they have accessories and covers, and so lots of cool stuff. And then we'll move on here. But again, shotgun microphones. The boom arm, the blimps. I have the blimp with the dead cat. They have the handheld for the wireless Go, so you can use it like as an interview microphone, $29. All these labels for color coding your XLRs. There's the backpack. There is the new boom mic with all the branding. They even have their own DS1 stands, so you could order that shock mounts, adapters going from TRS to TRRS if you need to do that. I have this little SC4 adapter. I have this VLRX Pro, and then I have the Rodecaster Pro cover. I even have an unboxing on my channel that goes on my Rodecaster Pro version 2. And then I have a cover by a different man of Deck Saver for my extreme ISOs, my A10 Mini Pro, as well as my old Rodecaster Pro version 1, and that's Deck Saver covers. These covers are right here. These are my Deck Savers right here. So if you want to take a look at those. So I have one for each of my ATEM Extreme ISOs. So lots of covers. I have 4 covers altogether. ATEM Mini Pro, 2 for my Extreme ISOs, and yes, I do have 2 Extreme ISOs. I'm using both of them tonight. And so lots of cool things on the Rode site, but let's move on to why we're all here probably, and that's to talk about something else. Let me go into, I think this is ready. So let me see right here. I'm just going to roll the dice here and make sure I am ready. Where is it? 2 bucks right there. Oh, wow. That's so ready. It is completely dead. So let's go back to this. Wow. And let's turn those off. I have chat on the air. Let's turn chat off the air. Let's look at that again. That was absolutely crazy. So let me figure out what is going on here. Oh, output 2 is shuttle. Okay. This should work now. We will find out. So 2 box. Yeah, let's get this going here. Box 2, super source, should be extreme 2. It's box 3. Okay. Try this again. My studio has been taken over. Okay. So let's turn box 2 off. 3 off. Is that 4 off? Yeah, what is going on with SuperSource tonight? I see it here. There we go. I'm on twice. That's good. What else do we have on here? Let's go into SuperSource. Yeah, something happened to my SuperSource here, so let me size this down. Okay, sorry about that. It looks like I even have something in the background on here. There we go. Let's increase the size of box 2. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with that macro, but that's a macro gone bad. So, okay, so this is my receiver in the back. So I have 2 slides here. Let's hit this. Yeah, so there is the Country Mercantile, and you can see on the top of the Country Mercantile there are some transmitters that transmits to that receiver on the side of my house. I'm prepared to just do this while we're here. This is what the receiver looks like on my house. Here's a view from the back of it looking out to the Country Mercantile. And the main towers are up here on the mountain. But just to keep this into perspective, this is what's on my house. And then I receive from the Country Mercantile, and that's the top of the Country Mercantile. And again, there's the Country Mercantile off in the distance. And if I drop my logo back up there, we're going to go ahead and hit play. And so this kind of zooms back to show you the perspective on my porch. And it goes all the way back. So there's my fountain. So I'm going to stop it right there. So this is looking through my porch all the way up to the Country Mercantile. And you can see there's a couple other houses in the way, but that can see just fine up to the Country Mercantile because, and I'm just scrolling back here with my shuttle, because it's got a direct line to the top of the Country Mercantile. We'll stop right there. And so I get my internet feed. Now, that's not my network. My network's in the house. We're going to look at that. I have some Unify devices in my house. I have some Netgear devices in my house, but this is a Unify system. And so my guest tonight, who could not be with me, Mark, is the guy that installed that on top of the Country Mercantile. So what is that installed on the top of the Country Mercantile? It's these. So all of that is up there. That's not all his, I believe, but you can see that he's got those going 2 different directions. The ones on the left shoot towards my house. The one on the right, I believe, shoots to a water tower, but that's what you have. And so this one's on my house, aiming right towards the Country Mercantile. And then next door is my mother's house. So if we go back to the video again, right behind this shot, as I scroll back, right back behind me is my mother-in-law's house, and she has a transmitter on her house as well. And again, this is the transmitter on her house. So that then shoots, I'm under it, aiming up. That shoots right over this other video that you were watching, shoots right over top of my house to Country Mercantile as well. So she gets a signal and I get a signal. And let's just continue this video. So you got the fountain out there. That's where I'm going to be shooting from, on the back porch very soon. Again, there is the receiver on my house. There's a close-up of it as we continue to roll this video. There is me zooming into the Country Mercantile. Let's see how close I get here. There, so you can see the transmitters there on top of the Country Mercantile there on the right. And there's the neighbor's house. Then that is my mother's transmitter or receiver. And then there is my internet. So let's scroll through this. It's a jungle mess, but there's where all the cat comes in. Oops, let's go forward again. That's where all the cat comes in through my house into that port. Then it goes into my Unify switch, and above that's where my cable modem comes in. Let's roll this. And so there it is. You're going to see a close-up of that right there. So that is my receiver from the transmitter, and I can also hook cable to that if I wanted to. Actually, not to that. I believe it goes to the back of my 16-port switch. Let's keep rolling here. There's another close-up. And then there's my Unify switch. Let's see if we can get that a little clearer. Right there. You can see how many watts it is. Let's try this again. Let's go forward. Trying to use my scroll feature on my Hyperdeck shuttle. Okay, let's just go here. Stop. So there you go. That's about as clear as I can get. Let's continue down through this. And there's all the cables. And then I can wirelessly control from my app from that device. It literally lets me go from the app on my phone. I can control my network. I could open up a port if I wanted to use my streaming bridge, though I've never done it. I don't want to really open up any ports into my house. So I've really only used my streaming bridge here inside the studio. And if we scroll through this, there's a closer up of the switch. Back up here. And you can see that's hooked into some of the ports. I still have available ports there. I'm going to run a cable into the patio. I'm going to run another cable into my garage for my new studio. Tony and I have talked about this switch and updating it to something that's 10 gig switch. So I'm looking into that. They're not cheap. This switch was not cheap. This whole setup, I think I have quite a bit of money in here. And let me go back here to this little round device, the very beginning of this video. That little device right there should be mounted to a ceiling. When I originally had the install at my house, I thought they did a cat cable into my living room. So that was going to go in my living room, and that was going to be the wireless internet in that part of my house. But they never, the guys who did my wiring never put one in my living room ceiling. So I still need to run that wire. I haven't yet. And Mark is going to help me do that. We're trying to decide if we're going to go ahead and do all the wiring for the new Studio B, which we probably are. And then I'll probably be updating this whole network. And that's why I haven't really done any new purchasing. But let's go ahead and roll this video. Scroll here back up to where I was. You can always replay this video. And let's roll this. So there's kind of a look. That is where my son used to be. That's the spare bedroom. That's just where everything was brought in. And I'm going to eventually get a rack up there. I haven't bought a rack yet, like I said, because I'm getting ready to do some updates. I almost was going to update right after I moved into the house within the first year and a half, and I didn't. So I've never put it in a rack. I don't have the ears to put the 16 port switch in a rack, but getting close to making my decision. So that sits inside this closet. And now Shannon has that closet filled with all kinds of dollhouse supplies. So let's roll the video. Okay, that's it with it. Let me go to this other video. And this is a slide. No, that's video. Let's see. Can I get to my slide video here? Yeah. So let's roll this. So that's the mountaintop. Just going to take you through these slides. And that's the far mountain. There's two mountains. There's Jump Off Joe and then this mountain. And I thought Mark had some stuff on that hillside on those towers, but that's not where he has a receiver on a tower. There's a look at the mountain. My housing plan is there on the left. And that's the mountain where all of the internet comes to. This is a new road that's being put in. And if you go to the other side of the highway where Mark lives, you have actually a new development. This is the end of the road. It's going to bust all the way through and come in behind our house, behind Country Mercantile. So this is all a development. And these are some slides that I took today. And let's just go through these. And so again, there's the tower. And it comes down the hill. You're going to see one of the last slides. We don't have to aim at the hill anymore. They actually have a station on a pole at the very bottom of the hill, and we're going to see that here at the end of these slides. So this is the orchards on the side. They're not orchards, but vineyards on the side there. This is the original development over by Country Mercantile, and these are kind of stations that the vineyard has along the way. I just took a picture of that today, and these are all developments going on out there. There's the receiver on my house. There's what you guys already saw in my spare bedroom closet. There's the Unify device up close. These are all just still shots I took. Country Mercantile off in the distance. There's the model number of my receiver. Now, Mark is talking about updating all that. Again, that's on my mother's house. That's her new little covering that she just did recently that was not there in any of my original photographs. If you've seen my mother-in-law's house, which is right next door, no fence between us, that's her satellite receiver. And then right below that is her Unify receiver. Actually right above it on the eave of the house, because she's got to be up high to shoot over my eave. And I have she's shooting over my back porch. There's a close-up of hers, identical to mine. Again, that's a shot really standing between her house and my house. Again, that's my hot tub. I'm on the back side of my hot tub. And again, there's a look from my patio to the Country Mercantile for where it's located. And there is a better look of the Country Mercantile. It's the brown building. Now, I have these throughout my house. I have one upstairs, one in my bedroom. And these are wall mounts. Instead of having an Ethernet port in the wall, in the wall, these have two Ethernet ports on the bottom, and then they're wireless networks in my house. So everywhere I go in my house, I have some of these. There's the two ports on the bottom. So I literally could come out of one of these, run up into the attic, and then out to my patio. I haven't decided if I want to do that. I really like to locate all of my Cat 6 cable in the main hub in my house, but I wanted you to see the bottom of these wireless little networks. So because my switch is powered, I can use these anywhere I have a wall mount Ethernet port. There's power there, so I can put one of these there instead of the regular outlet. So instead of having one location for a cat cable in my bedroom, and this is where I used to have my desk that I have right now in the bedroom, in the corner. So I had two ports and a wireless modem there. So continue through these slides. Now I have 3 of these Netgear switches in my house. So I have one over on the other side of this room. I have one under my desk. This one right there is in my living room, and that's where I have my Denim device, my other Apple HD version. Actually, I think it's 4K, but it's the older version. I have my TV, it's plugged into that. I have a DVD player plugged into that. I have, it's completely filled. I do not use cable anymore, but I use my TV, I use Netflix and all that stuff. Even though I do have cable on my roof or dish on my roof, I'm not using dish right now. I didn't want to pay for the subscription. Let's keep going here. Here's the other one in the rack on the other side of the room. And you can see that's where I plug in a long cat cable to go all the way to my back patio. I tried to use it last week, but I think the cable got damaged. I've used it a number of times, so I think it's got a bad cord. And so I was losing my streaming bridge trying to broadcast from my patio. So I'm going to run a permanent cable before I try to do that again from my patio, but I will be able to go from my A10 Mini Pro, stream from it to my streaming bridge underneath my desk, coming right into the studio. I will do the same thing once I go into Studio B. I will be streaming to another streaming bridge here in this studio until I have to shut this studio down. And right now, it doesn't look like I'm going to have to get rid of Studio A. So we'll see. Let's keep going here in the slides, and then I'll take your questions. So that is the Unify. So all of my key pieces go into this. So both of my extremes go into that. My streaming bridge, my HybridX go into that. All of the main things that I use here in my studio to stream live from go into that device, including my laptop, my PC. So I think it's completely filled with those. And then I have another switch underneath my desk, Netgear, for some of the more obscure things. There's the Netgear underneath my desk, and you can see I don't have all the ports filled. So that can be my ATEM or my Rodecaster Pro version 2 because it's wireless and it can be wired. So one of the cool things about the Rodecaster Pro is that you can update it just through wireless in your house, which is really cool, or you can have it plugged in. It has an Ethernet port on the back. Let's keep going. So I have that switch. So 3 Netgear switches, living room, across the room, underneath my desk. And I have one Unify switch underneath my desk, and then the big 16 channel. The one underneath my desk is an 8. The one in the closet is a 16 port. Again, that's the top of the Country Mercantile again. You've seen this slide. And that's from the side of the building. So you're seeing the transmitter that goes clear up to a water tower, I believe, is where that one goes. The one that points to my house is pointing right towards my finger, and it's on the left. Let's keep going. There's a close-up of it. So the ones on the left are the ones that I believe go to Mark's house across the highway. You're going to see the highway here in a slide here in a minute, and you're going to see his tower at his house. Keep going. There's a close-up of, and that's the one facing directly at me. And again, I believe that one goes to a water tower. And those are the ones that go directly towards his house and my house. There's another shot of them. And this is a tower next to Mark's house. So originally he moved into development that didn't have any internet. And so that's where this all started. So this is a tower on the corner of his property. Again, he does IT work. He's not like he is not like a super man when it comes to IT and all this, but man, has he grown. All of this was something that he just did for his house. Then it became available in my neighborhood. My mom found out about Mark, and then I found out about him. They moved in. Their house got done 3 months before our house, so they had internet via Mark. I then got internet via Mark. All of it is broadcast directly to these transmitters receivers, just like a wireless microphone it's different but similar. So there you go. That's his tower, or tower. There's a close-up to his tower. And he's talking about changing all that. That's the neighborhood street. That's in direct line to the Country Mercantile. So I went around the corner. So that's what you see if you were going, if you're at the Country Mercantile looking, I don't know, it's probably 1.5 miles away from the Country Mercantile, maybe 2 miles. I don't know. I didn't ask him. And there's the tower. This is the highway that you cross. My development's on the right. Mark's development is on the left. We're looking back down the highway towards Yakima, Washington. You have the Horseheaven Hills on the left, and then all of the mountains are on the right. In fact, that far, far mountain is called Rattlesnake Mountain. It's the highest mountain in this area. Again, they're not snow-capped until wintertime. This is desert, but that's the highest mountain, and there's actually elk living up there. Hanford owns almost all of that. It's off limits, but I would love to go up there and see the elk. There's literally elk, a herd of elk, very, very large trophy elk living on the top of that far, far mountain behind the post. Going through the slides here. Here's another look. Down the highway. Again, my exit's right there to my house. I live literally 5 minutes off of that exit. And then this is from Country Mercantile to where this source is. So it comes down the mountain to that tower. That's like a telephone pole or whatever you call it. That's a look at it from the Country Mercantile through his spotting scope. And that is the tower. So there's a truck working on it that shoots the signal from top of that mountain. We're not the only, he's not the only person that gets a signal from this location. It's at the ground level, not up on top of Jump Off Joe. And that is where he gets his signal from on the Country Mercantile. And then I get my signal from on top of the Country Mercantile. And back to my video. So let's just go through the video one more time, and then we'll take some questions. Country Mercantile to my house, from Country Mercantile to that tower. Over that porch is how my mom gets hers, from the same location. And this is going to zoom in first. Just wanted you guys to see the waterfall. So there you go. Zooming in from my receiver to the Country Mercantile. This is as far as my iPhone would go. And you can see the white on top of there. This is just wasted footage here of my neighbor's roof. And then that's the one my mom receives from the same location on the Country Mercantile into her house. Here is my little wireless dome that receives the internet from the receiver on the back of my house. That goes into my 16-channel Unify hub, and I can wirelessly control it from there, even remotely when I'm not home. And there's what comes into my house. It's not a lot of cat cables, but I have a couple spaces there available, and I'm going to use those. There's the closet, and that's it on that video. So there is the tour of my crazy wireless in my house. We turn my logo on, and let's go into the chat. I'm sure there are lots of questions. We are going to go for about another 15 minutes. And so let me just get through these. Let me turn chat on the air here. Chat off the air. Find out what is going on with my computer right now. I have lost chat. So I'm going to close OBS and bring it back open here again. Not sure what's going on with this browser plugin, but Copy that. Okay, let's put this up. Wow, I have just chat off the air. I have lost everything here. This is my chat, so let's fix it here. Let's turn chat on and find out what is going on here. There we go. Okay, so fixing it live, that's how I roll. Here to record uses YouTube API. So, okay. And that's here to record. So HDR Graphics uses that. And so if you want to check out John Barker's plugin, then you can test that out. Less likely to break, for sure. Aaron uses a custom version of his chat plugin. Would like to know more about that, so we'll have to find out. Jay said he looked at HDR, but it doesn't output to DeckLink cards, so I don't want to use it. Oh, I didn't know that. That's good news. I understand DeckLink out is definitely a plus. Yeah, DeckLink is just basically what DeckLink cards are. You can put them in a PC, and then you can use software inside your PC or your Macintosh, or you can get a little Thunderbolt mini PC, put a DeckLink card in there. Like lots of venues use these for their live stream. So they use a MacBook Pro. They'll have a Thunderbolt port. Now the new USB-C, Thunderbolt 4. They go to the little box. Inside it is a DeckLink Duo card or a DeckLink card. There's lots of cards that Blackmagic sell. And then you can do inputs and outputs. So you could have cameras come in. You could have inputs go out. So you could do a key and a fill channel just like a HyperDeck. So they Blackmagic Design also makes a little mini box that you can use Thunderbolt as well. It's like a HyperDeck, but not exactly, because it's Thunderbolt based, and you plug a Thunderbolt cable into your PC or your Macintosh, and then you can use software like so many softwares out there to do a key and fill into that box. And from the box, it's kind of like a HyperDeck into your whatever device you are streaming from. So you still got to come out of it into an ATEM Mini, Pro ISO, Extreme, or any of the new television studios as well. So, okay. Here's all the answers. The new X on my phone is Twitter renaming, Twitter branding, Twitter laugh out loud. There's the answers. I never posted those live in the chat. Still fighting Aaron's plugin. Okay, I'm going to speed up here. I have a private IP address. From what I understand, Jay, he's asking me, do you have a public IP address? I do not believe it's public. Unify switch 16 PoE, 150 watt is a workhorse. Still have one in my own network dedicated to the studio. Well, that's good to know. We did talk, Tony, between you and I about going to 10G. So if you'd like to say something in the chat about what model you recommended to me, that would be cool. The receiver looks like a Nano Beam, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know the answer to that. I think it was in the picture later, if I remember right. I think it did say Nano Beam, right? I have a lot of open spaces for flying my drone. Thank you, Tony. That's for sure true. Um, yeah, I'll find out that. That's a great question. Who is Mark tapping into? Um, it's fiber that 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 a bunch of people buy time on. So he has his own account. He gets plenty of bandwidth. Like I said, he could give me. I think I have 100 megs up and 100 megs down. He could give me more if I had capacity to handle more. And we've talked about it. I literally could open up a TV studio in my house because of his system. It's part of why I built a relationship. So if I ever decide to make this a network right here at my house or in my Studio B, I literally can get that. I just have to, he has to update his equipment, which he's talking about doing. I have to update my equipment, but I don't know exactly where you get it. Good to have you back, Freddie. Do a live test. Okay. So this is a great one. Understand I'm doing this while I'm live, not recommended. But here we go. Where is my app? Unify. Going into my Unify right now. Looks like I have some updates I need to do. I've got an update to the switch, Tony. That's the US 16, and I have an update to my Studio 8, and I also have to my little, I call it the little flying saucer. So sorry, I just stopped to say that. They made some changes to the app. I'm just looking at this real quick. Stand by. Sorry, I had to change a couple things. I'm doing a speed test right now. Remember, he's coming back into town because he's having some issues. So 79 down right now and 53 up. And again, I told you guys he was coming back into town because he was having some issues. So, but I did a test before I went live just to make sure I was good. So hopefully that helps you out. Did the live test. Freddie said the same thing. Tony doing it live. When ads play, they're way louder than my audio. I'm sorry. Is my audio low tonight, guys? It looks like, let's just see here. Check, test, test. Yeah, it's a little bit low. I just brought my audio up a sconch, and I can bring the main up as well. Let me know if that's better. So that is from Jay tonight. So. Do a speed test. It'll tell me who he uses. This is a speed test in the app, so I'll have to do that later. I'm not going to ping his network again because he's probably here working on it. I'm probably going to get so I can port forward according to him. We'll talk about a 10G switch when we discussed you getting a Synology NOS, mentioned the Unify. Yeah. So I still do want to, Tony, get a Synology. I also want to have a better backup system. Right now I'm backing up to 2 hard drives. All my clients are on these cards. So I have a backup in-house. Each one of them gets a ScanDisk card. I use ScanDisk when I'm recording in the studio from my extreme ISOs. Right now I'm recording, and that's kind of how I roll on that. You tried to message me on Discord, but it wouldn't let me. I'm not sure why that is. And I appreciate the comment on my upload speed. So yeah, I should have 100 up is what he has me at normally. I told him he can throttle me down, but not on Tuesdays. So cool. Okay, that looks like I've caught up. What speeds do you pay for? Not a horrible considering. I pay for the relationship. So I think it's, believe it or not, like $120 for everything that I get. So I'm glad you can hear over your lawnmower. So, yeah, I didn't have it as loud tonight. Well, that looks like I caught up on all of the questions. Again, networking in your house, there's lots of different options. There's all kinds of equipment. There's different wireless systems. I'm trying to be wired. I'm using the Unify switches. I do want to replace my Netgears with Unify switches, but I'm waiting to see what I update to. Again, when you're updating and you don't know exactly what you're going to update to, it's hard for me to start buying gear because everything needs to be faster if I go to a faster system in the studio. And if I move the hub out into the garage for my Studio B to make it super fast, we may even go directly to a receiver for just Studio B and a separate one for the house. We don't know yet. So been talking about that. Mark is doing more and more research about speeding up his system. That gives him more control and the ability to offer more bandwidth. He has plenty that he purchases. Obviously, the more I use, the more he has to pay for. So I'm not using those speeds normally unless I'm downloading a video or uploading something to my Google Drive. So that is limited only by what I do in the studio. And again, with having clients, I just want to be able to get stuff to them quickly. It's good to have you, Joe, even though it is later in the night, but thank you for joining us. Hello to you. And Jay only has 10 megabytes for uploading. So again, 10 up lets you do 1080p and we should look at that real quick. Oh, I can't show that page. Yeah, I can. Let's do this real quick. So let me do this. Let's go. I will just go me and my laptop. And then I'm going to switch what is in SuperSource Box 2 to my PC and turn chat off the air. What did I do? Oh, my PC. Oh, I can't show that. My bad. I can't show my PC right now because I'm using full screen. Let's try turning that off real quick. Turn chat off. Yeah, too many steps to try to get that working. What I was going to do is say that in the software, if you are streaming high, in the control software, you have the choice between HyperDeck High, HyperDeck Medium, and HyperDeck Low. Those are higher codecs, still H.2.4, but you're going to get better quality video. You're going to be able to do editing. That's for mainly recording directly inside your A10 Mini Pro. You could possibly stream at HyperDeck Low or even HyperDeck Medium, but it's going to be a lot more than the 6 megabytes I'm using tonight. So I stream at streaming high, and I really rarely ever go above like 6.23. And so that's 6 megabytes a second. So obviously you can stream at HyperDeck at streaming high. You could probably get away with HyperDeck Low as well using a A10 Mini Pro ISO Extreme. And I think you're streaming from, if I remember right, OBS, So, okay. Let's put the logo back on here. I've got a birthday party to go to tonight. If you guys enjoyed a behind the scenes look at my studio, please let me know if that's something that you enjoyed. And I'm just looking for something right here. I want to do a little tethering here before we go. Trying to see if I can get my Apple TV to wake up here. It is sleeping. I guess not. So it's not participating tonight for whatever reason. Going to try it again. Because what I wanted to do is, as we were going out tonight, I was going to show you, again, the switch under my desk and the switch in the closet, but my phone isn't working. So that's it for tonight's stream. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching this delayed, thank you for joining us as well. There's lots of other videos on my channel. You don't have to just watch videos on how to build a fountain. But if you like that and you ever want to know more about the fountain/waterfall I built, I would be happy to answer those questions in the comments on that video. There's not that many views on that video, but I really am glad that I posted that video. I am still working on learning how to use this shuttle with Shadow Sideshow Effects plugin for Premiere Pro. That video, I've done a number of takes. I'm just not that well acquainted with using the Stream Deck Plus with that. So that video is still in the works. It will come out, I promise. It's going to come out eventually. Just give it time. Some highs here from Joe. And it was fun to talk a little bit about Twitter. It's also fun to catch up with everybody. It's fun to give a shout out to TVJ, who was on Aaron Parecki's channel on Sunday. So check out that link below. I will put some Amazon associate links in the description if you'd like to use those to buy a Unify switch. Obviously, the channel gets some support, so thank you for that. But whatever you say. Oh wait, let's do this here. I want to put this up here. So, yeah, Chio Walker was thinking that the X in my video description was a new streaming app. I'm sorry, I did not want to lead anybody astray, but the goal was to talk about Twitter making this change and seeing what your guys' thoughts are. I still would love to hear your comments tonight in the chat. If you're joining me late, you can put them in the comments. I'd love to see what your thoughts are on the Twitter app going away from the little birdie and tweets to X's, I guess. I don't know if that's a great way to look at things. Usually the song says all my exes are in Texas, so I would just leave them there and tweet away. But so that was part of our conversation tonight, as well as I will bring some footage of what I got Dominic, and we're still trying to work on our channel. We'll talk more about that in the future. I do plan on having the possibility of a new lens here. We'll see how that goes in a meeting I have this week. I'm probably going to get part of that paid for by the people I'm doing the shooting for, because they're requiring it. We'll see how that goes. And they won't be a sponsor of my live stream, so I won't be saying anything about that. But thank you guys for joining me tonight. Thank you so much for making this a pleasure every Tuesday live at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My name is Keith, and this has been a fun journey looking at the network here at the house and how I get wireless off of a mountain from a good now friend of mine who wished he could be here tonight, but he is traveling home from being on the road to solve a problem with his network right here in the Tri-Cities. The Tri-Cities is Richland, Pasco, Kennewick, but in reality, there's way more cities right here in this local area. And if you never found me on the map, I'm in Washington, right where the Hanford site was. And there's 3 rivers that come into this beautiful area. And it's great economy. I'm not promoting it right now, but I've lived here most of my life. And so I do love the area I live in. I live in the city of Richland right now. Not my first time living in this city, but I've lived in pretty much all of them except for Kennewick. So Pasco, Richland, West Richland, I've lived in, but to my knowledge, never in Kennewick. So have a great night. Thank you guys so much for joining me in the chat. Just put a couple of these comments up there before we go. And I will do my best to enjoy the birthday party. Thank you, Freddie. And thank you, David. And again, check out these guys' channels, please. Some great content available through lots of people that are here every week, including Aaron Parecki on his channel with Jay on it, talking about some really cool things. So check out that live stream. Jay does a live stream on Mondays usually. So check out TVJ's live stream on Mondays. And then also there's a link in the description tonight for that interview that he did with Aaron Parecki on Sunday. So I'm Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios, and I'll see you in a video right here very soon. And I hope you'll be there to join me. Outro live show, macro in Mix Effects. Good night.